The Cheating Death Podcast is a satirical program containing objective information about anything and everything under the sun. We are not biased, we are not political, and we are not religious. We are blunt, we are direct, and we are here for you. But by now, you are already aware that you are listening to the Cheating Death Podcast. On today's episode of the Cheating Death Podcast, we provide you with some lovely discussion as it pertains to gym etiquette. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting into the nitty-gritty. We are lifting the weights and doing the reps and giving people the right way to make the steps. There is no one way to identify just how annoying it is when one walks into a gym and there is a whole litany of issues surrounding you and the staff. But that does not necessarily mean that it is insurmountable. Of course not. We have decided to put a temporary hold to the business spotlight for now, and we instead are going to add individuals and or entities and or people to the credits section of the program, both in the written episode's podcast description, but also slightly verbally at the end. It will come back in the fall. In addition, we also provide you with an all-new joke of the episode, an all-new Annihilation Announcement, and of course, dear listeners, where would we be without providing you with the context and the subtext in which is required for us to identify the specifics of the beauty of the existence that we dwell in. So, top 5 bicep exercises? Yes, sir and ma'am. We are going to take the world by storm today. So by now you know what to do. Put your feet up, grab your iced coffee, and let us tell you how you can cheat death. This is your news anchor, the Cleric of Chaos, and this is your Annihilation Announcement. We take focus away from those in whom are doing nothing more than trying to move forward and wage war upon mediocrity. Those in whom ask themselves what more can they do by providing themselves an opportunity to see beyond the horizon and to understand that the sun is indeed their friend. We ask ourselves many questions over the course of many years. One of them being specifically that we do not ever receive the answers to. Why are we here? Who are we? Where can we find solace and reprieve? These statements and sentiments are not indicative of trying to identify or calibrate within one's mind exactly what one must do in order to achieve solace and in order to achieve these particular endeavors. Absolutely not. The reality behind our situation in life is that we need to take focus. We need to really appreciate and understand and evaluate just how important it is that we do not give up, that we keep moving, that we do not become complacent, that we do not focus on things that will annoy, that will exacerbate the lives, the situations, the issues of other people. When we enter into our own minds as we rest and as we sleep, we ask ourselves leagues of questions, looking at the ceiling, staring at the sky, always pontificating and asking why. It is with great disdain that we provide ourselves our most harshest of criticisms that more often than not we would not bestow upon another person. We would not look at these people and identify specifically within the points in which they identify that this is the way that people should be treated. No. People are fickle. There is a way for individuals to move forward in a way that is not disrespectful to other people. There is a way for people to move forward in a way that is both nurturing and nourishing to the individuals and or entities and or groups and or people that you serve and or communicate with on a regular, everyday basis. If you are responsible for other people, in other words, your family, your friends, anyone in whom you may be required to care for 24/7, realistically, the gamut could be run. But we look at things specifically from a point of view that is not necessarily easily identifiable to those in the confines and the structure of the broken minds in which some of them delve and deviate into. No, we are all broken to a degree. It's just a matter of how and why and where and when and who and how can pick up the pieces. The answer to all those particular idioms, conundrums, colloquialisms, and questions and situations and perplexing dilemmas all dwell within inside of our minds. However, we, as a species, have become complacent. We, as a species, have come to rely on other people, to be understanding without actually communicating, to just say the things like, "Hey, bruh, don't worry, not a big deal, man. Don't worry, it's all good." When in actuality, the situation or the communication in which you were hoping to acquire from said individual, or the type of resolution to a potential problem, requires more than a just simple, "It ain't that serious, man. Just try looks maxing, it's fine." Everyone deals with things differently. However, we have reached a point in modern society where people have become lazy, apathetic, and completely unmotivated. How and why do we handle this? How? With precision. Why? Because there is no other option. Once we allow people to become fully complacent, relying on artificial intelligence to go about their daily grinds and binds as they leave their souls behind, there is nothing that can replace the brain, the soul, the consciousness, the vessel. And we as a people, we need to move forward and we need to try to understand that all of this power dwells within our souls. We just need to start believing in ourselves a little bit more and actually putting in the effort. Because once you start to put in the effort, life becomes a little bit more clear. This has been your news anchor, the Cleric of Chaos, and this has been your Annihilation Announcement. Willkommen, 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 meine Freunde. Guten Morgen, guten Tage und eine gute Nacht. Ist deine Reisende, deine Ausländer, deine Künstler, deine Schauspieler, deine Cleric of Chaos. And please note, dear listeners, that today on the program we are going to be getting into one of the most imperative and one of the most important elements of modern society, especially with how people are looking towards building their vessels and trying to get into a new state of mind. We are, of course, touching upon gym etiquette today. For when you ask yourself, goodness gracious, what must I do to give myself an opportunity to look how I want to? What must I do to match the feelings and the sentiments and the overall physiological equal to how I feel? Simply put, we often take ourselves to a gym or a training facility to give ourselves an opportunity to look into the mirror and see exactly what it is that we need to do in order to move forward. For you see, there is a litany of options in which are provided when it comes to gyms, training facilities, training methods, patterns, habits, keeping oneself in shape. But there is nothing more important when you are entering a facility that is designed to cater to a large group of people than understanding just how important etiquette is. What is etiquette, you ask? Especially in this particular dynamic. Dear listener, it is rather simple. We take into consideration exactly what we must do, how we move into a building, how we move forward when it comes to communicating with each and every single person within said building. But for today's etiquette explanation, we are going to be focusing specifically upon the gym. The lovely spot where you can go and run on a treadmill and you can lift some weights. You can take a shower afterwards and indulge in some hydrotherapy if need be, or give yourself an opportunity to engage and indulge in some CrossFit exercises or in high interval impact training. The choices are yours. But what is etiquette? Simply put, etiquette is a term used to describe what some would consider the proper behaviors, the proper movements, how to do things properly within a facility, politely, with consideration, not only for yourself or the staff, but also for the other individuals in whom share that space with you. How gym etiquette looks from space to space varies a tiny bit here and there, but more often than not, there are standards that remain the same. For example, if you are working out using dumbbells removed from a rack, and you have anywhere between 4 to 8 different pairs, dear listener, not only do you only need 1 to 2, but the more you have, the more likely you are to forget to place them all back where you acquired them from in the first place, leaving a staff member or another gym user to replace them for you. Now, when we look at things from a dynamic and from a perspective that is mutually exclusive to how we feel and how we can present ourselves within a certain environment, we must take care and respect those around us. We must understand that whenever it comes to exercising within a gym, whenever it comes to replacing those weights back on the rack, it isn't just about following order. It is about respect, and it is about decency. In addition to that particular type of etiquette, succinctly put your dumbbells back on the rack, you silly sod. Plates, barbells, different areas of incline and standard bench presses, where you have people who put the weights on the barbell. They will do their lifts, and then they will put the barbell down, back on to the bench press, but they will not put their weights back on to the holding area, which in and of itself, when you take a moment to truly identify and evaluate just how rude that is, in a grand scheme, you will understand that it is important for you to do what you can to leave the thing as it was before you started using it. Gym etiquette also consists of ensuring that you clean each piece of equipment after you are done using it, whether it be a dumbbell, whether it be a circuit machine, whether it be a treadmill, whether it be a yoga mat that is publicly usable. You are responsible to leave the gym and to leave the facility in a way that it was when you arrived. And if you found it in disarray, do what you can to help clean it up and help else someone's day in a way that you would not be able to identify or quantify if somebody were to help you in that same respect. Someone assists you with lifting the dumbbells back up onto the platform. Someone assists you with cleaning the equipment. 9 times out of 10, when we give ourselves an opportunity to move forward, and when we give ourselves a chance to truly see exactly what it is to operate, to work out, to train in a gym that is cared for by the amount of people in whom care about it, care about you, and they care about the staff, it gives you an opportunity to truly see just how lovely our people, our species, our ability to care is. Those are just a couple of examples of gym etiquette. Ask your personal trainer at your local gym for some more tips, for some more advice, and feel free to speak with the customer service personnel and or the shift management at your local gym and see exactly what they suggest that you can do to brighten someone else's day and to make it a bit easier. Until next time, thank you for tuning in today. Take care of yourselves and each other. At the top of today's episode, we promised you, dear listeners, a top 5 list of bicep exercises to give yourself an opportunity to look at the mirror and see your arms pop with presentation. Coming in at number 5, we have the standard chest push-up. Coming in at number 4, we have resistance band exercises. Coming in at number 3, we of course have what many would consider to be the favorite, and that is the barbell curl. Coming in at number 2, we have the dumbbell hammer curl, and coming in at number 1, we of course have the standard definition favorite of most of all, the standard dumbbell curl. What are your top 5 bicep exercises? Email us at thecheatingdeathpodcast@gmail.com. Today's joke is brought to you by the Cleric of Chaos. Sometimes, whenever we look at ourselves in the mirror, we ask, what more can we do? But this is not true if your name is Sue, in which case you may just want to avoid the rhyme. The very notion of what is categorized as the etiquette within a exercise facility, or as some would call a gym, is not lost on those in whom regularly do their best to ply their craft, to build their fortresses, and to give themselves the look that they are always hoping to achieve. The idea that gym etiquette is lost on a lot of people over the course of time is not necessarily something that is limited to or relegated to that of a specific denomination, a specific type of individual, a specific type of character. Absolutely not. Each and every single individual in whom makes the decision to step into a gym is obligated to follow a certain level of decorum, a certain level of rules, a certain level of respect for your fellow athlete, for your fellow trainer, for your fellow person. The reality behind gym etiquette is not necessarily to be elitist. No. The notion, the reality, the very reason behind gym etiquette is to ensure that each and every single person that walks into that building is given a fair opportunity to build their bodies and to build their minds how they see fit. When people deviate from that norm, and when people move to identify specifics within themselves that make themselves feel as if they are more important than other people, and they transfer that behavior to the gym, that, ladies and gentlemen, is when it becomes an issue. We always take time to try to understand each other, to always try to motivate each other, to always try to push each other, to always try to fight, to always try to give reason to move forward in a way. But in each and every single scenario that we ask ourselves exactly what it is that we need to do to become better, very few look at themselves in the mirror and ask themselves what more can they do. This is not necessarily symptomatic of a problematic situation. No. It is indicative that there is a lack of information as it pertains to the overall level of how to behave in a gym or a training facility or within an environment where you are with a lot of individuals and who may or may not be working on different goals. It is imperative for you to understand in this time that we as people do all that we can to move forward and to focus and to provide honesty, humility, appreciation, care, and respect to those in whom share the spaces in which we occupy. Thank you for tuning in today. Take care of yourselves and each other. The Cheating Death Podcast is brought to you by Nachdem Lieben CRDVC, Cleric of Chaos, and where you can find all podcasts on all platforms. Please follow us at youtube.com/@clericofchaos and each and every single one of our social media listed in the episode's description. Please follow our friends at Backroom Comedy Club at Backrooms Comedy Club on Instagram, so that would be instagram.com/backroomcomedyclub. Follow our friend Alex Burke, instagram.com/Alex Burke. Please follow our friend Douglas Mallow, who is our powerlifting and professional wrestling consultant, instagram.com/just_the_epic, youtube.com/@scalingupcatches. Please follow our friends at Spitball Media, youtube.com/@spitballmedia, and on Twitter and social media as well. And please remember to follow each and every single one of our friends in the links in the episode's description. If you or anyone you know is experiencing psychiatric duress, gambling abuse, substance withdrawal, please consult the telephone numbers listed in the episodes and podcast description. If you'd like to support the program, you may do so by purchasing merch, a cameo, or making a one-time payment within the episodes and podcast description as well. Please ensure that if you are looking to adopt a playful puppy or a cute kitten, you visit your local animal adoption rescue center. They are in dire need of your support. Visit yummypets.com/voice. Sign up for an account and click the button every day to ensure that both cats and dogs have an opportunity to get free kibble at the end of every month. And dear listener, we understand that life is not easy. We understand that you may be listening to this program and trying to decompress and relax. Give yourself an opportunity to shine like the star that you are. And if you ever have anything that you require, do what you can to take yourself higher. Thank you for tuning in today. And remember, we're pulling for you. We're all in this together.